Yo, it's your boy Chris Elijah, and I'm in here with you know who.
Toya Love.
And today I got my homeboy, Mr. CSA, Tukeezy in the building, man. And we're processing right now. You, my boy.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Yes, sir. What's happening?
Cool. You real greasy?
Yeah, man.
Look at
yeah,
them
man.
hands
I
moisturized.
got that moisturization.
He asked for some lotion. And you know what? We got him some
You
lotion.
see how you do people, and that's why people don't want to know how you talk. You ain't got to that man business like that.
I can't have them slave hands in here.
I don't want
can't have
lotion.
them slave hands. I work so hard, so I can't have the slave hands.
Chris, why you?
For what?
Boy,
Wow.
your hand looking like baby boy hands. What?
Can somebody bring us some
Jody.
lotion?
No, I was bringing Jody back, man.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm 2023 Jody.
Okay.
No,
No.
you're not.
Okay.
How old would Jody be now? If Jody was 20 on the movie, Jody, that was about 20 years ago. Jody be an old man. Old. How many kids Jody got now? If he 40?
Man.
That's a good question, ain't it?
That is a good question.
Because he had 2 at 20.
Yeah.
Maybe he got a vasectomy.
And it looked like she wasn't stopping.
Jody.
She wasn't stopping. She had she was pregnant, and then she had the baby, but then she was pregnant again.
Facts. Can they do a baby boy too?
Little boy wouldn't make no sense right now.
Little boy.
What is going on here?
Little boy. All right, that ain't work. All right, that's one of
Somebody
my
call it
favorite
baby
movies,
daddy.
man. Baby daddy.
He gonna go
baby
right along
boy.
with you.
Baby.
Daddy.
That's good. That works. Shout out to whoever we need. Tyler Perry. If we need to get you. R.I.P. John Singleton. R.I.P. John Singleton, one of the greatest directors.
No, I don't know about Tyler. Tyler got too much extra in his pictures right now, man. It's too much. Like he don't make normal pictures no more. I'm sorry. He just don't make normal pictures no more. It just be like it be on some over the extra. Like all black folks is not that dramatic.
You real dramatic right now.
Yeah, you
I'm
kind
just saying. I'm just saying.
I know they're passionate, and that's what y'all gonna learn about him today.
I love it,
man.
bro.
He's so passionate.
All black folks ain't that dramatic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and all men don't wear wigs.
you absolutely right about that.
Some of them do.
Well, you know they got them sew-in weaves now. These men want to get their house sold, like they want to get house sold in.
You got something, you know, I can help
You
y'all.
don't like
Like you
that?
throw that little thing on there.
Nah.
Are you hat fishing?
No, I'm straight. Well, I'm cool with my bald head. I embraced it.
Oh my, you know what? Can you be the first person I try? We'll get you a nice little lineup. We can put the white chalk on it because I know it's required.
It ain't
White
required.
chalk, oh.
That's not a real thing.
That's not. Oh.
It's just anything that's meant for women, I'm just not rocking.
You ain't trying to do it.
Anything, I don't care. You can't put men in front of purse, weave, bodysuit. I don't care. You ain't putting nothing.
You seen in a bodysuit.
Nothing. I would just get in the gym.
I feel like the bodysuit coming.
I feel like
I feel like it's coming like this
you
summer.
don't put men in
bodysuits,
front of
men
certain
in bodysuits.
things. You don't
No,
put
man,
men in
I
front
don't
of
think that's
certain
gonna be a
things,
thing.
and then men be like, "Okay, it's for us." Now I'm like, "Nah, dude, it ain't for you. You want it. It ain't for you. You just want it. It ain't for you. Come on, man."
let's talk about it. Let's get into
bro,
it. Let's get into
This
it.
my water, right?
Yeah.
Y'all be in public, have to do that. This mine, oh dang, shoot, this mine, just gotta throw it away, get another one. That never happened to y'all.
Hey, I just have to charge that to the game and chunk that. I have to pray on that. And
So
just,
you drinking other people's water.
Come on now.
It is 4 people in here. You know I ain't touch it. So you know what? You trying to say she got the cooties or your girl got the cooties, man? That what you trying to say?
I'm finna cut the camera off because he's trying to take over. I'm trying to take over what I got going on, and I gotta do some straightening. So house cleaning, what they say, house cleaning, and we'll be back.
No, don't got straightening. So just tell us a little bit how you got in the industry. You know, cause you know you a mover and shake out here. This guy right here is big in Atlanta. He's leaving his stamp everywhere he steps. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, my guy.
Well, you know, I started off as an artist. Like, you know, years and years ago, I started off as an artist. I was in this rap group, and
What was the name of the group?
Yeah. I never knew
I gotta know that. It's always something funny.
Okay, I was in a rap group back in the day called the Black Knight Regime.
You can't make it up, y'all. You can't make it up.
Okay.
Black Knight Regime. Oh, okay. And it was actually 4 of us. And the craziest thing about it was, like, the first place that we recorded our first project was at HHIGH Studios.
Oh, look at y'all. Thanks.
So it's like back then, it's like we actually got introduced into the whole thing of just seeing how the industry worked from the studio, and it's like just getting opportunity to meet, you know, artists like, you know, because back then they had Razzcast, meeting Razzcast and other artists that came up in there and stuff like that, just getting that experience. And it's just we tried the group thing, and you know what I'm saying, like when you dealing with people, man, you know, people see things different and there's conflict and, you know, there's disagreement. So the group really didn't last, but me and my boy Peanut, Quentin, by the way, we actually formed a duo group because his dad was actually the one managing us and stuff like that. Okay. But with me, like, I was just raised on music, but I saw music different. So it's like
was you the David Ruffin in the group?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was actually like with me, like I wanted to do it. So if anybody gave me the opportunity to do it, I ain't finna mess that up. So I was the one that was. I was the one that showed up on time, made sure I was at the studio.
Ain't nobody come to see you.
Like doing, you know, just doing my. But the craziest thing about it is like the whole the whole neighborhood and people knew me, you know what I'm saying, from like rapping and freestyling, and they was like, but that boy can rap, you know what I'm saying. So it's like I was known in a good way when it was like coming as a rapper. But as time progressed, you know, group split up. I split up with them, did my own thing. I paused for a minute, and then I actually got back in it. But I was in the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, so I was like in Gulfport, Biloxi, Mississippi. So I created my solo sound there, started working with other artists from other different areas, because I was working with art artists off of Keesler Air Force Base. So, you know, these artists come from all these different cities and states in the Air Force. So I had the opportunity to just start working with different artists, and then learning the studios in Mississippi. And I met my boy Dub G, and Dub G was like one of them upcoming legends, and you know what I'm saying, in the SIP. So he put me up on game. He put me up on how to brand myself as an artist, like how to make money while you spending money. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't never understood. He showed me how to do that. So it's like I started accruing multiple hustles while I was grinding, and you know what I'm saying. And I started like doing shows, and because I was from up this way, down that way, like I always talked myself into an opportunity. So I talked myself into opening up, like also getting a chance to open up for artists like Lil Boosie, Webb, and them T.I., like anybody that came down to, you know, just being one of the artists to open up and doing stuff like that. And it's just like I was just always like clean and very tedious about how I did stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even from my lyrics and my music. So I mean, like just doing all that, and then growing and finding myself and just sticking with it, and just coming back to Georgia.
So was that secular, or was that mainstream?
Secular.
So how did you get to the CHH part of things?
Great question. But before I actually went that way, I stopped doing, because what I'm doing now, there's a key to why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Yeah. So it's like before I went gospel, or gospel rap, or CH.
What do you call it? What do you call it?
Before I start delivering a message with content according to my current lifestyle. Huh? That's what I said. Yeah. So I mean,
what you saying, Tip?
But you know,
I don't got no college credits to understand.
I'm just, but it's like when I left the Gulf Coast, like, and came back here, like after Katrina hit, messed a lot of stuff up. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't really go back and do anything, so I had to establish a whole foundation here. I saw it was a lot of rappers here, and it's like I just was like, there's a rapper at every BP, sitcom, whatever station, is always somebody giving you a CD and stuff like this. So I was like, I told myself, I was honest with myself. I said, man, you ain't in the street like that up here no more. You know what I'm saying? You on you trying to get yourself. So you don't really have the budget to stand out. Mm-hmm. So, because there's too many of them. You know what I'm saying? Too many artists. So what I started doing it's crazy because my first client was AK from PSC, and that was during the time it was with PSC. So I met AK, we sat down and talked, and during that time he actually did a mixtape with my boy Todd One and all them, like from the radio station. Mm-hmm. But he did it out of pocket because Grand Hustle wasn't pleased with what he did because the radio station then wasn't pushing the mixtape. So Tippin was kind of upset about that because he stepped out and he did his thing. But during the time, I started working with him, and because I was good at seeing the opportunities in people even when they didn't see it. So I told him, I said, hey bro, I'm like, yo, you got your PSC chain, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, everybody know PSC, dude. It's on BET. So let's go to these outskirts and let's you take your mixtape and let's just create your brand with the music you got. So we started going to Augusta. We went to Columbus. We went and started going to other different places. And it's like, I didn't know people was watching me when I was moving like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, fast forward, I went to Grand Hustle with a demand. Crazy me, I don't know why I did that, but I mean, and they looked at me and laughed, and they was like, so now
I like that though. That's hard. That's hard.
And so I looked at AK and I was like, hey, bro, this getting hard, bro. We ain't got you ain't getting no support, like you ain't. So I just went in, and then that's when I came across the Legion of Doom DJs and everything, and I started being a PR intern with them, and then from there, I was always great with handling music and, doing music stuff like that. So I just transferred into that, to PR, to DJ, and I really started grinding, but I was moving like an artist wanted to make it. So basically, I became everything I needed to help me, but I was helping other people. So I needed a DJ, I became one. I needed an A&R, I became one. So it's like I sat down for 2 years and I paused on rapping, and I started sitting down with music execs, DJs. I just started doing events, hosting events, DJing, mixtapes. I just started doing so much, and I was like, okay, I got this. So then I was like, bam, I'm finna, I had all my doors, I had all my plugs, labels, connects, everything. And I was like, now I'm finna do my thing. Mm-hmm. And then God had another decision.
Come on, son.
So it's like I sat back and I watched God close all them doors. It was almost like I was able to help somebody else get on with my plug, but I couldn't even get myself on with my plug. Mm-hmm. And it's like then I was going through my legal issues, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the doors of me was closing so much that and the crazy thing about it was I was bucking on God. Like I would tell God, like, Lord, I hear you. Give me a minute. I'm gonna do this and I get back with you. Right. And God looking at me like, boy, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, and it's like, so my life went bad. And it's like I went through a lot. And the craziest thing about it was everybody that I knew in the industry that I was going hard with, that I was working with, they didn't know the dark side of what I was going through when the lights was off. But when the lights was on, I was there. Yeah. But it's like, what pushed me more was the things I was creating and the things I was doing. I worked harder than any other DJ that I came up with. Like, I came up with the little Bankheads. I came up with Infamous. I came up with Swap It Zo and Screaming them. That's how I know them, because we was that class. Yeah. So when I was in the mix of that Drama Sense and all them. I was in the mix of that. I was coming up with them. So it's crazy because sometimes I tell myself, I'm like, God, if you didn't pull me, I'll be big right now, because I came up with, you see all of them, they doing that thing, and I'm like, but I'm like, but then at the same time, I laugh at the same time and be like, my life is more important than fame. So if it took me sacrificing that to get my life in order, then
it go back to what you talk about, man. You always pushing P, Yeah. You always pushing purpose.
And that's what started my music career.
That's your thing.
Purpose. Like, God gave me redemption, He gave me revelation, and He gave me purpose when I decided to. He gave me them 3 tools. Mm-hmm. And so when I first started recording music, at first I wanted to write music because I can create music. Like, I wanted to write for choirs and, gospel singers. I didn't want to do rap because my sister gave me the cross movement and stuff back then. I was like, man, I don't know. So I was just like, nah. You know what I'm saying? She was no disrespect, but I just was. When you come up on when you come up on Rakim's and then the Big Daddy Kane's, then you transition to the Bigs and the J's, and you know what I'm saying, and they telling their stories and they eloquently with it, and the beats are hitting. When you listen to this other stuff, you like, what is this?
If I gotta keep explaining why something is cool, it might not be cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
That make a lot of sense.
If I gotta keep on explaining why my computer is the best, you got a little insecurity. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I ain't gonna care. Like, that's what I don't like about what we do. I think people are always trying to prove the point. Like, oh, it's cool. It's like, but if you keep on saying, if you feel like you gotta prove it's cool to people, you're making it not cool. Right. Just do what you do. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? But I see a lot of that now. Like, if this song was Christian, you know what I'm saying? Or if that, that's cool. But it's like, if I was on the outside looking in, I'd be like, why are you always trying to convince me that it's not corny?
I think some of that is just for exposure, because like, if you trying to go the other way, but you only know secular music, and there's somebody say, if you like Future, Jumpman, you will like Chris Elijah Outstanding or something like that. It kind of give them something that they didn't know really exists, because a lot of people don't know that we hear. That's still. True.
Maybe it's just that word. Maybe it's the word corny, or maybe it's the word.
I know what you mean.
The craziest thing about this is that was on my mind earlier today, and it's funny you talking about that, because I was just riding and I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, why are Christian artists the most insecure people I've ever seen in my life? Yeah. And I'm like the most and this is the thing. We should be the most and I'm gonna give you the analogy that hit me when I was with myself gathering the thoughts of this. I was just like, it's like saying this right here. Mm-hmm. You like, okay, you come in, you are who you are. You went through your rut in life, you made your choices and everything like that. And then you have your talent. Now you change your life. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a female who loses weight, but she acts like she put weight on. So when she lose weight, she's still looking in the mirror, putting on stuff, and still questioning who she is in front of people, instead of celebrating the weight that she got off.
She still feel like the little fat.
Yes.
But mentally it take, that's a mental gymnastic it take for people though. Just like I always talk about identity. Me and Chris gonna have a little event about that. But the way we see ourselves still probably ain't 100% how God sees us. Facts. The way we know that, the way that we worry about stuff probably don't make sense to God when He said He a good father. It's just like the same thing. I get what you mean though.
So why not continue introducing yourself before you introduce God? Because at the moment you're trying to get to know the new you. So maybe if you introduce yourself how God is working with you, instead of trying to introduce somebody that needs no introduction, you could
strategy.
You could effectively and respectfully introduce them the right way by introducing your growth.
Preach. Yeah. Preach.
I'm like, I don't see why everybody, they just get saved and they just want to. I'm like, no, bro, you still got issues. Like, you need to introduce you. Like, one thing that I've understood, and I'm glad that I grew up in hip hop. The most beautiful thing about hip hop is it gave you the freedom to express who you were, what you was dealing with, what you see, and then the problems that's around you. Mm-hmm. Like, when you say, okay, I want to introduce God. Well, you forget to understand that God needs no beat for introduction. Better yet, he can speak through you. So you don't need to record an album to introduce God. You don't need to do a mixtape. You don't need to go on tour. You can introduce God through how you act, your actions,
your
like
lifestyle.
Like your lifestyle. It's other areas. So when you put that much pressure on an expression, on one part of an expression, and then you cap it off giving it a name to make it appease and feel like it's godly, at the end of the day, that don't mean it's godly. So just cause, and yes, I'm here to say, just cause you say this is CHH, that don't mean all y'all going to heaven, and that don't mean all y'all carrying the word. You just put a religious stigma to clarify and validate you to walk into a situation and get some applause or approval or appeal to say, okay, he a part of us. No, at the end of the day, you don't want to be a part of them. You want to be a part of God.
What a collection plate. What a collection plate. I ain't even got no dollars on me.
Just, you know, I'm sorry, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta be 1,000 today, man. This is just a day.
That's why we here.
Where you just tired of seeing stuff and it's not working, and people frustrated by it's not working. And then when I see people posting stuff, which I don't knock people, when people post news like, you know, CAJ just still here, these are the deaths. I'm like, dude, to be honest with you, I don't care. I'm saying, can I?
Like she's still here with us.
Can I really say this with love?
Oh God, we about to get banned, and it's the third, fourth.
No. I'm just saying, can I really say this with love? I don't care about CHH. I don't care about gospel rap. I care about God. I'm trying to get to heaven. When we die, we getting in the casket one person at a time. You responsible for you responsible for what goes on your tombstone and how you fit in your casket. There ain't nobody, and then you responsible for who you are when you go before God. Everybody trying to worry about everybody else. Everybody trying to put words on groups to validate groups and worry about stuff that at the end of the day, God don't care. God didn't create CHH, man did. God didn't create gospel rap, man did. God created the Bible, the Word. And at the end of the day, what makes God happy is you living that word. It ain't got nothing to do with what you trying to rap or convince people that, yeah, I'm Christian, but I'm still gangster. I don't care. I don't care about your past, bro. If anything, you trying to show your future. So if you still got insecure issues where you clashing your future with your past, trying to convince you that you popular or you relevant, it ain't about that. It's about, my thing is this right here. That's why I'm glad I came up in the era of music how I did to really say this right here. If you got talent, if you that dude or that girl, no matter what you rapping about, you gonna be A1 with it. Yeah. So it ain't about stressing what you rapping about. It's about you excitedly giving the new you and giving an ability to be even more creative with how you can be creative expressing the new you. Yeah. Trying to all this overdoing extra stuff and trying to prove to one side that we this and the side proving it's like, that's why the devil is making a mockery of our genre and showing it in front of us, because we ain't even got no strength in our genre.
I don't think it's a mockery. Why are you saying make a mockery?
This is why.
Freedom of speech, y'all.
Yes, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Second Amendment. Go ahead.
Anytime you stand in your backyard and you look down and you shake your head and say, I want to go home. I actually want to stay in the house for a couple of hours. I don't even want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Lord, I ain't talking about you. I just don't want to be here. Whenever you say stuff like that, that is the enemy showing you like, check these people saying this don't mean that I got more control over here than they do, because God, this ain't important to God. It's important to the people presenting it. Yeah. God just want the basic. He want You. But we trying to, it's like everybody is approaching, they have able intentions with Cain approach.
But I guess my thing like now is, how do you not fall into that trap? It's very hard not to fall into that trap just with the age that we live in.
You have to be like, this is the era where you be honest with where you at. You wouldn't believe that I had to be reborn again and be reborn again. I had to stop before I got mad, because I see a lot of upset people who are upset, and I'm questioning, like, if you in the Bible, why is you upset about this? Like, if you really in the Bible, like you say, why is you upset? Like, I don't get upset with, if anything, I get upset with myself or where I lack or where I fall short at. I never get upset with people where I'm stepping away from God. That's why I'm glad when God came and got me, he didn't get me in no church. He got me off my mama floor in her bedroom. Yeah. So that relationship had nothing to do with a building. So can't no preacher, no building tear that relationship up.
I love that.
So I'm like, so you can't manipulate me because I didn't go through you to get him. He was like, hey, and I took the answer, and I wasn't ready. Yeah. So it's not no things, man. I gave up so much stuff, but then the stuff I gave up everything except about 2-3 things. I gave up a lot except 2 things, yeah. but it seemed like them 2 things hit harder than all that I gave up. And then it's like, so I was like, I guess this is my thorn. I guess this is what I'm working hard on. So I'm like, but the effort that I put in and just me holding myself accountable and me not getting comfortable in my sin, like holding myself accountable, not getting comfortable in it, and then allowing God to put that umbrella. Like, and that's something that we don't understand either. Like, God, when you doing God's work and when you really serious about God, God puts an umbrella over your fault and your flaws. Oh, yeah. So you ain't supposed to expose certain things. You supposed to work. Like, you ain't coming to the job to expose who you can be. No, you come to the job to work. So it's like when I go outside, that's what the Bible talking about. I ain't trying to expose my flaws to fit in. When I ain't come out there for that. I came out here to work. Right. And it's like, that's not saying that I won't get tried or fall short. But I come out here to work. So I'm like, me trying to expose who I am to be cool. Nah. That ain't what I came outside for.
Cut. You got some in your eyes right here. I don't want you to be on camera like that. You got something right there.
You good? Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, you good. Like action. We get back. I can't have my dog out here like this.
Nah, you good. But yeah, I mean, like, it's so I look at stuff. I see things different because of where I come from and me coming. Like, my life did a 360, dude. Like, I'm serious, and I laugh at a lot of different cats because I'm like, dude, y'all trying to still be so hard and be safe. I'm like, dude, sometimes I'm corny and I laugh at myself because I know I'm not the same dude.
But do you laugh at them or do you? I mean, it's because a lot of people haven't reached that level of maturity yet, and it's coming. You know what I'm saying? It might hit later on, like. When you was in your 20s, you know what I'm saying? It's a level of maturity you had, but now you know that you down the road now, you know a whole lot better, you know.
I just would say this right here. Even when I first started, like when I first got into it, yeah, the stuff that God saved me from, like for real, mm-hmm. where I could have been at, the 3 places I really could have been at. I took God serious. I ain't perfect, but I ain't playing with God. That's me. I'm like, I'm not playing. I don't like wasting nobody's time. I sure don't like wasting God's time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, my approach and effort was very serious. So with me, I didn't want to do music at the moment, because I was trying to give him everything that I felt like I've already given to the world. So I gave God back my gifts. I gave him everything because I wanted peace. So I started getting in the word. I started staying in the church as much as I can because I was still in the hood. When I left the church, I was in the hood. And then I'm around when nobody around me saved. And it took people 6 or 7 months to even be convinced that I was. Because of who I was.
I'm still trying to be convinced.
Like that.
Wow. Do you feel like you affected those people in any way by your walk? Were they affected, do you think?
I could say there was. Because even now, the craziest thing about now is like when I pause for a season and just really really direct it, allow God to alter my steps a certain way better. It's like they watch everything I do. And I'm the type of person that's like, you ain't finna tell me I can't do it. I'm sorry, like you're not finna sit and you're not finna stop me. You know what I'm saying? like it's like I'm that person. So it's like they're like the people, and I thank God for this. Like they're convinced. They sit and watch me for like 15 years. Like wow. stay on this ride for 15 years, making mistakes, being honest. Like one thing, I'm honest. Yeah. Like I love being honest.
I love being honest.
That's a good thing and a bad thing. Ooh, I love being honest.
You gotta know when.
When to hold them.
And it's like I'm not like majority of my childhood and my upbringing was an embarrassment.
No, it wasn't.
So no, this is what I'm saying. Like,
because it made you who you are.
I'm saying just get the point I'm finna say. So can't nothing embarrass me now.
I'm about to cry because I already know, but they don't know. But dang, I be crying all the time on the show. Hold on, because that's a lot.
So I'm just the type of person. If somebody pulled up some dirt, be like, man, you something, like, okay, I'll tell you about it. Mm-hmm. Have a seat.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk. I'm the same way.
Yeah, put up the camera. I can talk to everybody about it. Like it's like I'm not ashamed of anything.
Touch on your childhood a little bit, briefly.
Oh wow, that was crazy, man. Like it was dark, man. Like, and I came in the world with issues handed to me. Like I came in the world dealing with stuff off the rip from birth, like, you know what I'm saying, like relationship with like me and my family, and me not really knowing the true story of me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, the honesty of me, how I got here, who my real dad was, stuff like that, just lies and stuff made up, and my mama keeping stuff from us, and her having her own story about it, and just going through an unstable life, moving around all around, you know what I'm saying, moving around a lot, staying with different people, my mom getting sick, in and out of institution. Then it's like outside that, growing up in the system, foster care system, boys home, foster home experience and all that. So my life was very unstable, and then it was like I had to deal with so much. I ain't have a voice. So I had to go with the flow with anything, no matter what it was, good or bad. I had to just roll with it. So it's like I had to absorb a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy because it's like, man, that's why when I did make that decision, me and God really had a very real one-on-one talk. And God gave me the realest revelation anybody can give me. The crazy thing about it is when old people say, I was talking to God yesterday, I used to clown him. I'm like, man, God ain't come sit down you. But it's crazy because the way he taught, it's like he write it inside your spirit. It's like a branding.
That's a heck of a way to put it, man.
And it's like God.
That's Bible too. You say here, right on the tablet of your heart.
Yes, God set me down, and God talked through me to me, and God told me. He said, son, hey, you either gonna live by purpose or die by example. Either way, I'm gonna use you.
That's an album. That's an album name, my dog.
Can I
license
that name?
Oh. I already run with that, man. That's personal.
That's coming in summer, man.
Yeah, that's personal with me. And it's like the craziest thing about that is like that right there kept me in 15 years. Just every time I get too far, he be like, "You remember what I told you?" I'm like, "Let me get back over here." Like I'm like, it's like it kept me, because for what I went through in life coming up, and then the stuff I was wilding out there doing that he was covering me from, and then my life was just so off that I love my life too much to kill myself. So he knew I wasn't gonna commit suicide, because he was like, "Boy, stop, you love yourself, stop." You know what I'm saying?
For real.
But I got numb.
Yeah.
And when I got numb, that was almost like I was dead, because I just moved like I ain't had no. I just however the wind blew me. That's just and
kind of how you move.
And then my daughter Carmen, like she was young back then. It's like I really had love for her, because me coming up, I didn't get that stable love as a child. So that's what made me go hard for my kids. I'm like, y'all are not finna go through what I went through as a child. That's not finna happen. You finna feel love, and you finna see what love is. Even if I didn't get it, God gonna show me. So whoever I am now, God showed me through me reading. Like God raised me, because from birth to 30, I was just existing. So I knew how to scheme, sell, cut corners, do all kind of legal, do all dark stuff. I was there. And it's like from 30 up, it's like God started raising me. So I start looking at the Bible. I start pairing myself with some of the scriptures in the Bible. I start trying to allow my spirit, man, to grow me. And it's like, so when I did music, like with me, when I started doing music, I did it for me. The songs that I was recording, I was like, if don't nobody else play it, I need this self-therapy.
It meant to me. Like, I go back and play my stuff.
It meant to me. So it was like, if it was cool if people played it or not, you know what I'm saying? I'm playing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was personal. But like I'm like it just put me in a place. And it's like, even now with me doing the whole DJ and the whole marketing and managing stuff, like it's like a lot of Christian rappers, you know what I'm saying, and I'm gonna say this I'm gonna look at the camera. I'm gonna say this on the rap. I'm gonna
be in your comments.
Hey, it's all G. But a lot of Christian rappers met me when I was an artist. You met me as an artist.
Yeah. I met you as an artist.
Nobody knew who Trill was. Nobody knew my history of what I did before I got saved. So when I transitioned to this, everybody was looking at me like, "Oh, you're an artist. I can do it too." I'm like, "Dude, you don't know my history. I can easily transition to this because I did this over there, and I did it good. So I'm like, I can transition over to this." So anything I'm telling you, even though I'm an artist, if I'm saying something to you, it's just like you getting the information from somewhere else, because I did that.
And that's frustrating, ain't
it? It's
when people don't want to listen to you, but you right, and then they go somewhere else and hear the same thing that you told them, and it's like, bro, I told you that, bro.
And it's like my boy Voorhees was like, he told me, he was like, bro, you need to. He told me, he said, you need to show folk where you come from. And I was like, that ain't what I'm here for. So he started doing this Throwback Thursdays. And he started pulling out all our old pictures and he started tagging me to him.
Good.
So I'm looking like, man, what you get? I didn't even know he got on pictures. He was like, man, I still got my MySpace. I got all your pictures. I'm like, bruh, you still got all your pictures? He was like, bruh, he was
somebody take your phone.
He was like, bruh, I'm doing this for a reason. He was like, bruh, like, people don't, like, you in a whole nother different lane. They don't know the work you put in this shit. Yeah. Like, they don't know. And they're looking at you like, oh, I got more. I know Lecrae, or I know such. You did it.
Corey gonna say, how did I get here?
I'm looking like, and the craziest thing about it is, I'm glad you said it because Lecrae sitting on the side like, why my name? I'm like, he be like, why my name come? I'm like, bro, because you are the standard. Yeah, so because you are the standard, if anybody gets some attachment of your approval, then they be like, I'm straight. I know Lecrae. I'm like, okay, cool. But at the end of the day, you still gotta move like who you know.
Yeah.
If you're not moving like Lecrae,
it don't matter.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the good thing about it is, I dealt with artists like that in the sucker. When I worked with Disturbing the Peace in them. When I worked with Grand Hustle in them. Jessica Westcott was signed with Tut. They were like, what Grand Hustle? I said, I dealt with artists like that. Yeah. Like it's like I dealt with like block artists besides like also dealing with Jock and Gorilla Zorn, but also dealing with Colossus and the other artists that trickle down. You know what I'm saying?
It's a real Atlanta.
Like I mean like
Suge Knight.
Hey.
I dealt with Brick Squad and them. I did and the craziest thing about it is like I came in the Legion of Doom right around the time when Big Meech got
I just thought about Jesus.
Locked up because during during that time, God rest the peace of Juice. I was real tight with Juice. She had the magazine, the Juice magazine. Like she had like that was all BMF. Like we pushed Blue to Venture before Jesus even came.
Thanks. I remember Blue.
And it's like because of BMF, I met Fabulous. Because of BMF, I met because it was all tied into when I'm a club frequency was down on P Street. That was popping, the Atrium, like all
history
stuff like that. Yeah.
So what we gotta do to get this? Do you think we need to do things to get this genre popping, or are you saying don't focus on the genre, just focus on the storytelling in the music? That's what I mean. That's what I feel like I got from what he said.
Most beautiful thing about music is like your story is what introduces you. Your brand is what sells you. So no matter what genre you are presenting, as long as your music sounds good and your story is true, everybody's story is relatable because everybody go through something.
Facts.
So it's not saying you can't relate. And one thing I always try to understand is I'm like, you say you was a sinner before you was saved. So how you can't go back and talk to what you came from? Some people like, I'm like, you still there, you just different. So if anybody can talk to them, you can, because you come from it. So what? You changed up, you switched from a suit from Dickies, and now you done hung around a bunch of deacons and pastors, and you forgot how to talk to the people you come from.
It's a balance, bro. I think a lot of people, I'm gonna say a lot of people, but some people haven't found that balance. So they still,
So the most beautiful thing about that is this. If you're not ready to introduce that level, just introduce where you at and properly grow into that level.
Facts.
Because it's a lot of people trying to do what they haven't grown into, and that's why they'll do it for like a couple years, whatever, and then they'll backslide and lose, and they'll come back and be like, I'm sorry, I was gone for a minute, you know what I'm like, dude, like, you just, at the end of the day, when you doing music is a story of you.
Yeah, facts.
So wherever you at, give it. Wherever you at, give it. Wherever you at, give it. Don't give where you're not at just because you attached to it. You got to grow into that. And if you want people to believe you or buy into your story, then they need to know who you are. Like you can't do 5 albums and you're rapping holier than thou. Then on the 6th or 7th album, now you using the term nigga and you doing little extra G stuff, and I'm like, dude, what happened with them 5 or 6 albums before? Like, why you doing this now? If anything,
they growing, bro.
But this the thing. No, they're not growing.
They growing into they self.
No, they're not growing into their self. They're exposing they wasn't grown.
I think
there's a difference. Like when you grow into yourself, you start from here and then you progress and be like, so the first album you may not be cursing, but you use the word nigga. The next album, some epiphany hits you and you talking to God, you're like, you know what? That word just don't, that really because it, you know what I'm saying? And then you be like, it just connects to something that we're bigger than. So you as being an artist, we're creative. You create another slang term to use, and that creates a trend. So you create lingo. We do. This is Atlanta. It's a lot of lingo created. So if you're a rapper like. And not just in Atlanta. New York created lingo. E40 and them created lingo. Is in Memphis and them, Texas, everywhere create lingo of expression. So if you being artistically gifted, create a better way of saying it and make it sound cool. And then your next album, you just grow. It's like your next album, each album should show the growth of you. And that's the journey that people take with you. And to me, that's honesty. That's honesty. So as long as you being honest with if you being 100% honest with yourself, you can be 100% honest with your audience.
What if that person, maybe they backslid and that was the Backslide album?
Well,
that's not a Backslide album.
It might not be the Backslide. That might.
But if people say the N word, then if they say their music, then that was already part of the vocabulary. You feel me?
You want to know the great thing about Backslide?
Yeah. What
it's a great thing to that though. And I'm finna tell you.
I would like to know the great thing about Backslide.
I think this about to be deep. Go ahead, my dog. What's up?
Okay,
look at the camera. Don't look at it. Explain to them.
The great thing about backsliding is if you're honest from the jump, you don't backslide, you just slide up. Meaning this right here. If you really truthful with who you are as a person, you grow. Like
you can't even hold a straight face.
You grow honestly. Like you grow. So whatever you're dealing with, you're growing. You have a certain respect for God.
Okay, so you said they were revealing.
You're revealing as you go.
I get what you said. You've been more transparency.
Yes.
Okay.
So you don't have to backslide because folks will know you.
But that's what I was saying. You growing into.
But
yourself.
You said the beautiful thing about backsliding.
It's like
he wanted to make it.
He gotta be so poetic. Okay, respect.
Hold on. He wanted to wax eloquently.
Because if it's done right, if it's done right, it's honest. It's still ministry.
I get you.
That's the beautiful thing about it. Because everything that's ugly is not always ugly. There's beauty with it because if you can learn from it, it's beautiful.
This man right here. I like how you be saying stuff.
Hey, I'm happy that you're in Christian, you're in the kingdom.
He the T.I. of Christian.
You crazy, man. You crazy,
the way you spin stuff.
You crazy.
You put a spin on that thing.
I ain't lying, boy.
So I can imagine you spinning the block. So I'm happy that God got you, brother. You're a dangerous man with some money in your pocket. Keep up.
And it's almost like you sometimes have to really sit down with yourself.
Oh no, not sometimes.
And all the time. But it's like there has to be that periodic sit down, like that real where you just doing a real reflectional check. Like you just like, okay, this is what it is. This is where I'm at, honestly. This is what I'm looking at, honestly. This is how I feel, honestly. And you're getting it all out. Then you go before God and you're like, all right, Lord, I can't be no other person but me. So can you show me how to be and how to grow and to be a better me? And you got to trust what you ask for, and you got to trust God. And sometimes when you ain't you, don't be outside.
Some people scared of themselves.
So you don't need to. All right. So if you scared of,
and sometimes the church teach you to be scared of yourself. So
how do we get? Go ahead.
The building, religion.
Oh.
Yes. Like, because the average. All right. This is all right. To me.
Break that thing down.
To me. From me coming up and just seeing everything, just seeing our thing, it's just like, to me, religion looks very much like when you watch the stories of Christ, when you watch that and you see the people, and then you see the Pharisees, you see the people, you know, the doctrines, you know, right. And all them. It's just like, because why does all the leaders, majority of the leaders of big churches. Majority of the leaders of big churches are college grads, HBUs, Alpha Kappas, and all of them. Why
you throwing shade to my church.
No, get what I'm saying? No, I'm not throwing shade. They are, because, all right.
What church you go to?
So,
New Birth.
So with me saying
What's
that.
Up, Mom?
So I'm saying now this is not me throwing shade. I'm just being real. I'm like, so when you're trying to relate, like you trying to talk to some real sinners, you already out of pocket, because half of these folks don't know all that terminology. They ain't been to college. They ain't pledged. They pledged to the street.
They not using that no more, bro.
But this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying. Everybody that's been institutionalized in order to live in this country have also been institutionalized by the book. So when they do stuff, they don't do it by God. They do it by book.
What book?
Are you talking about that's what separated the Pharisees from Christ.
No, I'm talking about when you talk about going on right now. Are you saying they're doing like the theological books that they
doing that?
This what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. People can intake information to the point that they feel they are the information. Okay. And then you have those people that grow into God and they're humble enough to let God give the information through them. That's what separated the Pharisees from Christ. That's why the Pharisees felt threatened by Christ. They read the books. They read the doctrine. They knew the words of Moses and all that. They kept throwing at Christ, and Christ like, I hear what you're saying, but when I open my mouth, it comes from the resource that gave you those. So if you ain't tapped in with him, you can be tapped in with the books all day. You can be tapped in with the theologian.
Why you can't be tapped in with both? Why you can't have eloquent speech and know the word of God?
Because this is the thing. Because God said in Matthew, he said, I'll bring you before great men and everything like that, but you don't have to worry about what to say. Because I will speak through you. I will say it through you. So when you have that understanding, anytime you open your mouth, I'll be honest with you. I had a 10th grade education. Bouncing around from homes. Wasn't really stable in the school system because I was always in a new home. Years later, after getting the GED in jail, went and enrolled in college. First got God first. Got God, got purpose. God changed my thought process. So everything I've learned was by God. And God told me to look. God taught me. So when I took my college prep, all them big classes that I never took in school, God told me to go to Google. He was like, bro, son, you was born with wisdom. Everybody born with wisdom. You're born special. What makes you unique is when you humbly tap into it. You already got all the tools that you need to do what you need to do. You just need to tap into me and tap into you, and your tools are there. So he told me to Google examples of how to write an APA, how to do trig, how to do Google examples and put it together and look at what I'm looking and then compare and then do my work. I got my associate degree. I was almost close to getting my bachelor's. I ran out of money. But with me saying that, this come from somebody that did 10th grade education. Yeah. So everything I learned, God say you got wisdom with you. So with what I'm saying, if God's showing me he's that great, the Bible is for you to get yourself in line.
No, I agree.
It's not for you. When God give you a word, it's not for you to give it to other people because you think they need it. No, it's for you to take it, intake it, partake it, demonstrate it, live it, work it, and then demonstrate the word to people.
People gotta see. Give you a word though. He'll be like, you'll read your Bible. He'll be like, yo, you need to share this in your story, like, and then people. I don't know that because people will say, I needed that post there or something like that.
But see, this the thing. The most powerful thing about fellowship is the same thing as you reading that word. It ain't gonna hit nobody the way God wanted to until it hits you different. The beautiful thing about fellowship is most of the time when you fellowship with somebody, it's something that you need to hear, but it had to come out you for you to hear it, and it triggers you before it triggers them. So the fellowship is for you, but because you was obedient to share, it helped two people, but it was meant for you. So everything that you speak out is really stuff that you need to know, because you need to see just how much of God is in you, because there are times we feel that there ain't that much God in us. And we had them down times. And sometimes it take you coming in contact with somebody and God speaking and you just giving it and you like, wow, I needed that too. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like you wouldn't have never got it if you didn't share. So the sharing is needed, but the sharing is not always for the person. The sharing is for you.
No, I agree.
I think you have to share for both parties.
Yeah, but it's like God works so the way He worked is like sometimes it's better to see it one way, but then give it both ways. So in a sense, you're sharing while you're growing, so it keeps you humble to let you know you're still growing. And it's a lot of people that lose that when they get so full, they feel like I'm here for feet. I'm like, nah, dude, humble yourself. You have all this information because there's a greater tug on you for you to do greater things. So you're carrying this information because you need to get somewhere. But in the same time, you need to live out some of this stuff just as much as you're saying. Mm-hmm. So for somebody to carry that much weight, but be that much broken, then you're not eating. You're showing people you're able to give food, but you're not eating.
Taking in the word.
So you're weak. You're making them strong, but you're weak. So it's like what is this, an image thing? You're showing you need it more than what you need.
I think we all done that. You know what I'm saying? You can do that you can do that out of a pure place. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to not be used by God even when you down bad. You know what I'm saying? Like if God give you a word to get to somebody, or if you feel like, you know, something is convicting you, even though you still going through it, you can share. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can share.
But I've learned that there's 3 or 4 different type of voices, and you have to be in a place good at all times when all them voices hit, cause some of them voices, and it's like everything I'm saying this from experience. Some of them voices, even when it's something good, Satan made things sound good too. He spoke and made good points too. But them points may be good, but it wasn't for the moment.
But it's for the person to discern if that's the voice of God. That's what I'm saying. Because sometimes I hear stuff and I have to be like, is this God? And I have to do my little test. I ain't sharing.
But
and then I know. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't want people to get in a place where they might be dealing with a certain sin, so they don't talk about God.
Yeah,
no.
That's my fear. Like, I get what you're saying, but I don't want anybody to interpret it like, if I'm not right with God, I can't minister or I can't say anything about God until I'm right with God.
No, all right.
Like,
This is the thing.
Even in your messed up state, speak about God.
All right.
Never stop.
And I explain this to y'all. You will never be 100% right with God, but you're right with God. Meaning your efforts is what make you right with God, but your actions will never be 100% right with God because you still growing. So as long as you have the understanding of the why more than the what and the where, you can do all things through God, even where you at in life. But then there's some time where God will sit you down and say, get yourself, like, you don't just go outside in any kind of way because you feel you got some news to give. Because sometimes you'll go outside wrong and your news won't be taken based upon how you came out. So you still gotta be.
But I'm saying, like, what's wrong with it?
God will never send you out like I want to say it was Saul. It was one of them, the wise one that was drunk and he had the wisdom, and then God took the anointing and he was out there talking, but he was out there naked or whatever like that. Which one? And it's like God will never send you out there like that. So because sometimes you may see an assignment that's not meant for you, but because you feel you're equipped, you will take on that assignment, but that don't mean that's meant for you to do. But because God has grace and we have a freedom of choice, that's the power we get to make and pick and choose what we want to do.
I think the qualifier of everything is if God or the Holy Spirit tell you to do it. It don't matter where you are. If the Holy Spirit tell you to do it, then you just do it.
I think
that's what
I struggle with that because people still.
But
people
God will never send you
trial
out.
And error.
But
was that God? Let me try it. Oh dang, that didn't work out.
But you gotta grow as a. I mean, but that's what I'm
saying. I'm saying like, but we read, right? So if we read the Bible, and the Bible is a reoccurring in different times and different people in different settings, but it's just a reoccurring. If we read stories where God sent people out, he never sent them out not equipped. Even in their mess, even when he sent out David, even when he sent out Samson, like even in this mess, Samson worked, Samson was equipped. All these people God sent out, he knew what they was going into, so he equipped them some kind of way. So you never go out.
But when they started their journey, they didn't feel equipped because David only had a slingshot. So you never gonna feel like you got all the tools though. You always gonna feel that, but you just gonna have that spirit and that assurance that's gonna tell you, no, you got it.
David had a slingshot, but David had the will. When David took that slingshot out because he had the will. And in order for you to have a will, you have to be connected to the way. Like you have to. For you to just look and be like, I got, and you don't see nothing else. You just and you work off, and you just like when you in that moment, like I feel like I strongly feel in my spirit that it's like he had a talk with God.
But look
like
what he did, bro. That man had a talk with God. Had a dude killed because he wanted his wife that bad.
Oh yeah, dang.
When we got to look at what he did after that, like it's.
David
was far from perfect. So, not to say the anointing of God left him, but we make certain decisions. Not to say he's not equipped. But we make certain decisions, and your equipping is always, God is always putting more on you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that was the equipping for that season. But I'm going to let you make this foolish decision, but I'm going to use it to get glory from that from that decision because it's going to break your heart so much. All the evil you did, You know, it's gonna break your heart that
So
much.
now,
It's gonna bring you right back to me.
All right.
So I will let you fail. I will let you.
Okay.
I will let the anointing lead.
So
I will send you into the wilderness.
So all right. So y'all making some awesome points. But this is my only question to the points y'all making. Mm-hmm. Who did David have to read about back then? Who Peter had to read about back then? That's almost like saying this right here. We didn't have computers and all. We didn't have all this social media back then. And we're talking to a child that got all this exposure. And we're like, so it's like, okay, we got it in front of us. So if you fast forward now to today, where there's a church on every corner. This what I'm saying.
I will hold David more accountable. I will hold David more accountable than us.
Listen.
Because he heard from God.
Yeah,
listen to what I'm saying.
If I just read a book, okay, I'm gonna do what this book say. Opposed to God talking in my ear saying, "Do this, do this."
God,
I tell God no. Or I tell this book no.
I don't care how many.
Me telling
books.
God no is worse than me not living by that book.
God still talks. I don't care how many books is out. The same conversation David had. It's people that had conversation now.
But that's
still
what I was saying. You got to listen to the Holy Spirit. You got to move on that. It ain't about
God still talking to people. But it's also this too, from us reading and us understanding other lessons and other examples and other people and us seeing how everything is.
What's the greatest teacher? What's the greatest teacher?
The word, truth, God, like the word, like.
What? Okay. Let me try this. God says, "Try me."
Mm-hmm.
So that means, in our best efforts, in and of ourselves to try to live by this word, we're trying God. Okay, we're gonna see if God, if you make these promises and I do this, these promises should happen in my life. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying God, but when we think that God is not gonna do certain things because we do certain things, and God still don't got a plan, I think that's where a lot of people get lost because they get so stuck in their problems and they mess, and it's like,
we're doing too much, though, bro.
You gotta give people time to fail.
But that's the thing. We're doing.
We're gonna think we hear God and not hear God. But that's when we bounce back and be like, you know what? Let me try to hear from God again. Okay, that one was God. Yeah, you gotta try God. I gotta fail.
But we do.
That's the only way I'm gonna learn.
But we do. All right, we do too much when we don't even do enough of what we are put here in our season to do.
But we
and
don't.
This what I'm saying. All right, I'm saying. Listen, what I'm saying. No.
So we got to figure it out.
I'm still trying to figure God out. It's not that people don't know. It's just people trying to do so much that they can't even absorb what they know. Because you're trying to know you're trying to do too much. Because, all right.
It says study and show yourself approved. They trying to
this the thing. But this the thing. Each person in the Bible had their calling of what their assignment was, and they fulfilled their assignment. Yo, check this out. It's your boy, Mr. CSA 2, Gazy, and I just went through the process. Yeah.